Welcome to, if you don't know now, you know it's your boy 2 Saint. Today I got a special guest, my brother in Christ. Known him back over 20 years ago, grew up together in high school, but now his life has been changed. And he has a heart for people that have addiction. And we're going to be talking about addiction today, his testimony, all the things that he knows that he's been through in life. And maybe this could actually help you. You who are sitting out there that's addicted to marijuana, gambling, any type of alcohol, anything. Maybe today God can show a light on you. But today I'm gonna introduce my brother again, and he's an author now. He has this book, which we'll talk about this a little bit. Hopefully, it's Overcoming Addiction Through Grace. This book just came out. I haven't read it yet. I just got it a couple of days ago. Since it's going to snow, I probably will read it now even more. So take a look at this book and support him. And for real, use it will really help you. If you know somebody that's addicted, it's a good book to get somebody as a gift. So yeah, without further ado, my brother, the author, my boy Malik. Come on up, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see you, man.
You too, man.
You see my man rocking this Luka. He's Luka today. Lakers, right? It's yes, that time. So yeah, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. Want to make sure I talk to you, man, because I know your testimony. But I want the people to know your testimony. The people that I know, they may not know you. And we pray this gets out to people because these situations are very serious. Like for me, I want to start dealing with more divorce because I've been through that. Serious things that people deal with every day. And this addiction to gambling. And like, first of all, gambling is really heavy. You see it in everything now. And Malik has told me a little of his testimony. It's serious business. So we're going to talk about that today. So I guess my first question, my brother, is, because I want to know your testimony, let people know your background, to people who may not know. How did you grow up?
Yeah, man. I actually come from a real good family. My mom and dad, they're still married today. They've been married over 57 years.
Wow.
Came from a loving family with my brother and my sister. I was the youngest. Grew up, started in Northeast. Lived there up until I was about 6, 7 years old, somewhere around there, 5 or 6. And then we moved to PG County, Maryland, moved to Atlanta. So, yeah, man, it was a house filled with love, and you know, we spend a lot of time together, eating dinner together, and you know, just real family oriented, man. Gotcha. So I came from that, man, and you know, from there, I was still, when we moved out Lamb, I was still going to private school in D.C. It was actually an African school, so I stayed there for a couple more years up until like my 5th grade year, and then when we moved out, when we were out in Maryland, I ended up going to public school, skipped 6th grade, and went to Robert Goddard Middle School. Yeah. And you know, from there, man, like a lot of trauma took place for me. You know, I was coming from a school where they were like, you know, we're all brothers and sisters, you know, love one another. And then I ended up going to public school, and it was the brothers that was bullying me, taking my lunch money. You know what I'm saying? The dudes from, you know, a couple of those dudes that I actually ended up having a relationship with later on. But that's how it is, you know, growing up. So that was a challenging time. I was teased. I was different, you know.
Well, how old were you around that time?
Like, I had skipped 6th grade, so probably around 11, 10.
Okay, you skipped.
Yeah, skipped 6, so went straight from 5th to 7th. So, yeah, maybe 11, 12, something like that. And then some of them dudes had failed. So right. So, you know, that was a very trying time for me. I hated middle school, man. And, you know, so, and it was funny because it was like I ended up having a lot of, you know, white friends and, you know, even some Korean, because they accepted me. And, you know, hung around some blacks too, of course, like the ones that were doing good in school, they accepted me. But so, you know, early on, and then I was overweight. I liked it. You know, that was the years I started liking girls, but they ain't like me. You know what I'm saying? So so from there, it was a lot of trauma, man, and it put in me some insecurities and put in some low self-esteem issues, man. So, you know, things finally changed around going into high school, though. So those 2 years were real rough, 7th and 8th grade. So,
did your parents know that?
Yeah,
You knew?
yeah, man. I used to come home crying, man. Like I want to go back to that private school in DC, and I'm glad they didn't let me because I needed to go through that. And then I remember being bullied. I ain't gonna say his name, but it was one of them days, my 8th grade year, and I said, "Nah, that's it."
That was it. Yeah.
I was like, "Ain't nobody bullying me no more."
Right.
And then after that, man, I just
Turned the corner.
yeah. I said, I'm gonna stand up for myself,
Right,
man. I'm
right,
tired of
right.
this. So
Yeah,
you know, so going into high school,
Yeah.
everything shifted around.
Okay.
So yeah.
So when you go to high school, everything shifted. Now you're part of the pack, of course, feeling like you belong like everybody else. And I know we're talking about addiction and drug addiction and gambling and stuff. Did you experience drugs anytime when you were younger?
Man, that's a good question. Like going into high school, like you were saying, things shifted. I was playing basketball at this point. I made the JV team. You know, we went to Roosevelt, Roosevelt, Greenbelt, and I made the JV team, but I quit because my brother had an R&B band. I wanted to hang out with him on the weekends. I wanted to party. By then, I was playing Tonk for money, and by my 10th grade year, I was into alcohol too. So it started
by 10th grade, by the 10th grade.
by 10th grade. And then I started a go-go band up, and we ended up, you know, and then mind you, my brother graduated the year before I came into Roosevelt. And my sister was there while I was there. So I knew her friends, I knew his friends that were now seniors, and then my friends. Right. So it shifted around. Like I was like, now I'm popular, you know, I'm feeling myself. So, you know, with the go-go band and playing, I was still able to play ball through the county Boys and Girls Club. So I still was able to do that, but my shift went to partying, man, drinking. I started drinking early, 10th grade year, man. One of my first episodes, my first episode actually, was hanging out with some female friends and one of the seniors on the football team. And we went over her house. He came to pick me up. And man, they had Mad Dog 2020.
Mad Dog 2020.
And I was like, man,
it's too serious.
I'm in a rush to grow up, right? So I'm like, I'm a big dude. I'm like, man, I'm gonna handle this. I drank them things like it was some Kool-Aid, like 2 pints. Bro, that's the last thing pretty much I remember, other than the next morning.
Wow.
He had dropped me off in my parents' driveway. He tried to throw the rock to wake up my brother, so I wouldn't get caught or whatever. But man, dropped me off in the driveway. My neighbor come home and finds me out there drunk. Oh man! I wake up the next morning on my living room floor. I turn over, my mom right there and said, our neighbor found you out in the street, stone drunk. So that was my first encounter with alcohol, man. So it wasn't good from the break.
So you would say, because I'm just thinking of my own life too. So you would say like those little moments. It's just being around that stuff, and then you want to be older, and you're like, well, I'm going to drink like everybody else drinking because I'm already the man, so I need to fit in with this. So sometimes it's making things like sometimes we are doing things to fit in, but we never know where it's going to take us to.
That's absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you were saying, like, we never know where it's going to lead. It started at, I'm in the band now, I'm the man, I'm going to this place, I'm going to drink. So then, after that, so how did the alcohol and stuff started getting worse?
Well, man, like you just said a good point. Like I think, you know, from those low self-esteem issues early on, it developed a chip on my shoulders to want to be accepted, to want to be validated. And when I drank, it gave me that liquid courage, that false sense of being somebody and being able to, you know, talk to any girl I wanted to, and, you know, just being the life of the party because I wanted acceptance and I wanted attention. So that stuck with me all throughout high school, and then it pretty much escalated going into college. I went to Howard. Barely made it in because I was partying so much, but then it went to smoking weed. Then it went to selling crack. Then it went from selling crack to, let me lace a little bit. Let me try a little bit of this. And things just, it just took me somewhere where I wasn't prepared for. And then mind you, I'm still gambling. My first year at Howard, that's all I did.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. I know you. Okay, we talked about alcohol. Then I know you had the gambling. So the gambling started in college.
Yeah, well, I was already playing tunk like a little bit in high school.
In high school for money.
Yes.
Wow,
And I was,
yeah.
And I felt undefeated in that because I would always win, so I felt invincible.
Right.
So when I got to college, I stayed on campus, man. They called my room the casino because that's all I did all day.
Your room the casino.
Called my room the casino. All these dudes from around the country. This before Zelle and Cash App, so they would have money wide by their parents.
Oh, wide up. Wow.
They going to class. I'm sitting in the same spot all day, waiting for the next victims to come in there and gamble all day. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was my college experience, man. That's all I
That's
really did.
interesting.
Yep.
And that's interesting. They called your room the casino.
Yes, sir.
That's interesting to me because you don't really hear too much of that. Like, I've seen that stuff on TV now. The colleges, they all in the room and they like, yeah.
Right.
So Malik actually did it. Wasn't no movie for him.
Right.
So you did that. So now you're in college. Did you finish college?
No.
So
I had a running joke that I was on that 12-year never graduate plan.
Gotcha.
That was my whole college experience. Gambling.
Yeah.
Even at house parties off campus, they playing music and everybody dancing, drinking. I'm over there in the corner with 5 or 6 of us at the table gambling. So
in the midst of the parties, too.
yes,
You ain't in there partying. You in there trying to get money.
Nope.
Was it a money thing for you to gamble, or
I got addicted to the money too.
to the money?
Like I was winning so much, man. Like I was going down Georgetown to the polo shop.
Yeah.
But fresh every day. I was
Off the gambling.
Off the gambling.
We out here selling drugs. You in the trunk. You in the quiet. It ain't making money. We out here risking our lives. You get money doing the same thing we doing, but he gambling.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, that's interesting.
Yeah, putting rims. I had a Suzu Amigo then. I put rims on
Wow.
there. You know, it was just, and then I was using it to feed the alcohol and the weed too.
Yeah.
And then food too. So
Yeah.
I ballooned up to like 350.
Word?
Oh,
I ain't never seen you that big.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So that's a whole melting pot. So it's like you start with the alcohol, the drugs, the gambling, and then the lifestyle behind that with the people. Mm-hmm. So how was you? I guess I would say we talk about people, right? Because people play a big part in the things that we do. Was it some of the company you kept, or you know what I mean, that helped fuel it even further?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just getting with that clique at Howard, that it was like we kind of sought each other out, gamblers. And then when we got together, it was like a clique of us. So, but I definitely agree, the company you keep is going, like even in the book, talking about being the sum of the 5 people that you hang with, that's who you're going to be. Like you're going to be birds of a feather flock together. Yeah. Sure. So that was a big part of who I was, my identity, the people that I hung around with.
So then you started going to the casinos.
Yes.
So yeah, you got to tell the story of your casino. I saw a post you had that 14 cards maxed out, and I was like, yo, 14. Tell us that whole story about going to the casinos and how that whole casino world was for you too.
Man, but when I turned 21, I remember coming from, I caught my first DUI at 21 years old. I was still at Howard, going on and off. Like I said, I went for years, never graduated. And I remember coming from a house party playing cards, gambling party. And I lost so much money, and I was a sore loser too. So I was so used to winning. I lost that money, and we were over there. I just got inebriated. I was drinking crazy, man. And leaving there, I remember on Whitfield Chapel Road, leaving that party, going on my way home, and it was a police car on Whitfield Chapel Road back then. It's probably the same now. It was one way, one lane one way, the other lane the other way. And the insanity, man. I was so drunk, I cut the police off.
Oh.
And of course, what they do?
Yeah.
Hit the side, turn around, and pull me over. So I just wanted to share that, but that was at 21 years old where I caught that. So
First DUI at 21.
yes.
Okay.
So to answer your question about the casino, I couldn't wait till I turned 21 to go to the casinos.
Okay.
So
Countdown.
the countdown, I was looking forward to it. So my first experience was at Atlantic City, and I just remember saying, I'm gonna win this certain amount of money. I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna get enough money to put a system in my car.
Oh, man.
And get some clothes, right?
Yeah, the plan.
And it was, I think I was in my mind, it was like $1,000.
Right.
Man, I go up there. First experience, I played the slot machines. I win like a couple $100. And by then I'm shooting a little dice too with the neighborhood, the dudes in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I knew craps too. So I couldn't wait to get on the crap table. Took that money to the crap table, flipped it like way out. Man, I probably got that quarter, like more than $1,000.
Yeah.
Did I stop though? No. Drank up in there. Now I'm pilled, I'm drunk, and lose all that back and lost everything that I came with, and went to the ATM and lost all that out
So you
of
went to
it.
the ATM machine and came back
Absolutely.
with ATM money.
Absolutely. That was my first experience
That was the
at
first
the casino. That was my first.
See, my first experience was when I lost my first $15. Peace.
I know that's right. See,
That was me. I was like,
that's wisdom.
don't feel good. I lost that in 2 minutes.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Nah, but I get it.
That's wisdom.
I get it. Yeah, it was just
Like I always had that addictive
personality.
Yeah,
Some people did.
yeah,
I heard. Yeah, some people had that addictive personality.
Yeah.
So whenever they get into, they in it
All the way.
all the way in
like an extremist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Because you did tell me some months back how you were that they would be waiting for you, like giving you hotel rooms.
oh yeah,
And all that stuff. So yeah, tell us a little bit how that worked when you went there for that.
they reeled me in good, man, and that combination between that and me wanting to feel like a big shot. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to feel
Yeah,
like,
you
yeah,
hotel
everybody
rooms.
know me in here,
Yeah.
like I'm balling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But reel you right in up there.
Wow.
They gave me credit. Like I could pull out like 10,000, and they'll give me credit, and I just had to pay it back. So because I was a frequent flyer, you know, I was a frequent visitor in there. So you know, they would comp me rooms, you know, suites, food free, and I'm thinking, see, it even sounds insane to say it's free. Nah, I paid for this because I lost all that money. You know,
that little room they doing that, they like he already done lost thousands and thousands in here, so that don't really make sense.
Right.
Yeah, so you doing that, which I can understand, because we all growing up, and especially black men, we want to feel like big men at some point in time.
Yes.
And then if somebody, hey Malik, how you doing? They make you feel welcome, but it's all a scheme and a game.
You got it, bro.
To get your money, because we all want to belong. So if somebody making you feel good, yeah, take that room over there. Hey, you want some more drinks? You doing it? Here go credit. And a lot of us would fall for that. You know what I'm saying? Easy.
I fell hard for it.
Easy. And then you say you had 14. I started telling you that.
Oh, man.
14 maxed out.
Oh man. And you know, going in the casinos and like that part we're talking about was a little later on.
Okay. 14 cars maxed out?
Yeah, that was later on because after my first experiences in the casino, like I had incidents where I blacked out at the casino. You know, losing so much money, blacked out, and then the drink on top of gambling gave me that liquid courage I was talking about. So now I might start off modest gambling, but when I got that drink in me, now I'm like bet the 1,000, and I remember a couple incidents, man. One of them hit me real good when I was at the casino with one of my homeboys, man, and he actually he was up there with his wife, and they had a room, I had my room, and we went to the casino, and he left her up there or whatever. So we down there gambling. I start off modest. Next thing you know, I'm all in. I'm drinking now. So I was losing so bad. I just kept going to the ATM, pulling out money. I kept pulling money out my pocket. Now I'm drunk. So now I'm like tripling down on bets. I ended up winning all this money back, and he was like, "Man, you won all your money back, man." He was like, "I gotta go back to the room." So I stayed, and I just remember my last memory was going to the ATM machine, and wasn't able to get no money out of it.
Money gone.
Yeah, I'm getting receipts, just white paper saying you overdrafted. The next memory I had was waking up outside next to an abandoned building in Atlantic City on the ground. And
Wow,
that really hit me, bro, because I was like, wow, I let myself get to this.
Yeah.
You know, so I just remember, man, real emotional about that.
Yeah,
you know.
So that's deep.
Yeah.
How much you think you lost?
Man, I added it up.
So you did add it up.
Yeah, when I went to rehab, that's later on.
Okay.
But when I added it up, it was like over the course of years, like I know for sure within like a 2-year period towards the end, I had lost like 200,000. But when I added it up, it was really like a $500,000 when I really added everything.
You really did.
Drugs,
Yeah,
alcohol,
yeah.
gambling. So yeah, that was very
$500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we wish we had the $500,000 right now.
Yeah, right.
Save on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. So, okay, you going through all that. So, where you hit your? Cause now you've been delivered. So, when do you hit your rock bottom? What happens?
Well, you know, around 2021, like, matter of fact, you know, to rewind a little bit, caught a second DUI at age 40. So you talking two milestone years, 21 and 40.
Yes.
And I was drinking consistently. At some point in there, though, at the age of 29, I started my business. My business became successful after about 6 years. So during that time, I wasn't gambling. I was still smoking weed every day, but I wasn't gambling and drinking like that.
Okay.
So after the business built up, I had clientele now around 36. I said, you know what? I made it. I said, man, I got an 800 credit score. I got money in the bank. I just purchased my condo and I had 2 cars. And I was taking vacations.
Right.
So I was like, man, I'm about to have me some fun.
Right,
so
right.
That's when it started, man. I started going to casinos heavy. I started drinking heavy. It went from not drinking, barely drinking, to now I'm right back at it. I might say I'm gonna drink this weekend or something. Man, next thing you know, I'm drinking 4 or 5 times out the week. Poker was also real big at that time, Texas Hold'em. So I love cards, so I loved poker. Started playing that. So that just spiraled out of control, man. I ended up getting back in to lacing. I started lacing again. And by the time I looked up, man, the DUI, that second DUI was around, I think I was like 39. Well, I caught it at 40, but around 39, I could tell that I was out of control.
So you started recognizing.
Started recognizing. So 40, catch the DUI. They had the breathalyzer in my car for a year.
Oh, wow.
I was on probation, but all I did was go to the casino, and I was so deep in at that point, I went out and brought a test kit, the blowing. So because you couldn't blow over a .02, and that you could get that through mouthwash. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's how deep I was in. So I was still I was at the casino heavy, driving up and over, and you know, to answer your question, man, that stuff got so bad. So by the time so you saying catching the second DUI at 40. I didn't go into rehab till I was 49. So you talking about another 9 years. And during those times, man, but I came to Christ at 43.
Okay.
So I had toxic relationship with a young lady, man. It was terrible, and we both had the addiction to gambling. Both of us. Ooh, yeah. And you know, she would drink. She wasn't like me. I was, you know, full blown alcoholism at that point, and drug use. So I started doing harder drugs, mollies, dippers. I was just doing anything to, I knew I was in so much pain at that time and depression. So around 43, man, I said, man, I started going to, when I got that second DUI, they ordered me to go to AA meetings. And then I started going to GA on my own, probably around 2017 or somewhere around there. So to answer your question, man, I had gotten to a point where I was just so depressed and miserable. At 43, I started going to church. I was like, man, thank God, he had always had his people around me in my life to at least say something that it would at least make me think, even though I wasn't ready to surrender.
Sure.
But I knew it was people in my life and I knew it was something different about them. So, you know, when I finally came to Christ at 43, I knew I was self-destructing. And I had tried everything. So I said, I'm gonna try God. So I started coming to church, started going to church. First day I went to church with a young lady I was dating at that time, I got saved. And
first time you went?
First time. So one of the immediate things that happened was my language. I wasn't cursing as much anymore. And the music I was listening to, I started wanting to hear gospel music instead of all this rap that I was listening to. Cause I did music too. My brother got signed for a record label and all of that. So I was heavy
in the music.
Man, one of my good bros, we came out with an album and all that. But I knew that something had happened, but I still didn't surrender.
Gotcha.
So from 43 to 49, when I checked myself in rehab, you can imagine it was more beat downs. Because I had 1 foot in. 1 foot out. But the one thing I will say is this: I kept seeking God, even in the addiction. Coming to church, still coming. I'll be drunk and high the night before Saturday night, and I'll come. I was faithful.
A good word.
I was faithful to
keep coming.
To keep coming.
Keep coming.
So, you know, I would leave church on a Sunday, hit right to the liquor store, and then hit the casino. And then that cycle went on for years until I understood that I was miserable. You know, I understood that until I surrendered it all to Christ.
Give up your whole life.
I wouldn't be delivered.
You had to give up your life.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. So I'm hearing you, and I'm like, would you say, because you know, my testimony when I first came to Christ, I had discipleship kind of immediately. Meaning like the dudes the church I went to, they was heavy on connecting with you off the break. Right? I think that's what helped me. Because when you first get saved, you know, you don't know how to live this Christian walk unless somebody's walking it through you. Because I hear your heart was changing, the music, so your heart was changing. But still, there's still a process. And for me, and that's why I hear a lot of people, when I hear stories like yours, I don't know if you wanted discipleship or if somebody even came to you and tried to disciple, but I hear a lot of people that they still struggle because of the discipleship don't be there.
That's a good word.
You know what I'm saying?
And
a lot of people, because you don't know, you like they gave me this pamphlet that was like, it was basically telling you how to live this Christian walk. Like, they was intentional, like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I had this pamphlet, these books when I left, go home, I'm reading them, like, oh, this is dope. And then they would call me.
See, that's a good point.
They would call me, bro, reach out, like, yo, let's go out to lunch.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
And the thing was that my pastor was all on board with me.
Right.
He was walking with me, but he's married. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of the other brothers, like in the church, he was older, married.
Right.
So I didn't have a lot of men that were single.
Right.
In my position, and it wasn't a lot of men that were fully dedicated to the Lord at that first church that I was going to. But the teaching was there. My pastor walked with me. Like he was a true blessing in this. But you're right, man. That lack of men that would really, check it. But we did have like the prayer line
Sure,
and things
yeah.
like that. Like we had that like every day. So
Yeah.
all of those things help.
Yeah,
All of
absolutely.
those things help. But I do agree with you. Like having those men that will really walk with you all the way, even when you're not all the way there, they can still hold you accountable and just share their experience too, walking
And
with
see,
the Lord.
sometimes for me, it's like sometimes we don't listen to the old dude all the time. It's old. We don't listen to somebody who our peer, who we know.
That's good.
I know this dude saved now. I'll listen to him because I know he my age. Sometimes that plays a part sometimes too, although it shouldn't. Because even our parents say you need somebody a little older than you. You need somebody around your age, and you should be pointing to somebody else.
Amen.
But a lot of times, we just got that. Sometimes we don't have anything, I would say. You see what I'm saying? You don't have nothing, so you just kind of, and in the churches, the churches got to do a better job of discipleship. I think some people come with a sincere heart for Christ, but then you also got the enemy, bro. Because think about that. You get your heart, I hear your heart was transformed, but then the enemy still got these traps, and he knows, so it's like, how am I going to fight this? You know what I mean? Without anybody walking this with me and can hold me accountable. Now you just going back out, going back to the liquor store, going back here. You know what I'm saying? So the discipleship, I think, is very important.
That's definitely my story right there. I didn't have enough in me, even though my heart was leaning towards God and I wanted Him. But this walk for me, it wasn't an immediate overnight deliverance for me.
Not for you.
It was me walking, like you said, it was me being discipled, staying in the Word, and really making that choice. To say, God, I want you over everything. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, the lifestyles you come from and I come from, it's like people don't realize that they slaves. You don't realize you're a slave to it.
Yes.
You're a slave to that thing that's entrapping you. And that's the worst thing, to be slave to something that wants to kill you too, right? Like you slave to something that wants to kill you.
Yes.
And we don't know it. You don't know it until the light of Christ shines on you and say, you know what, you're in sin.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you really in sin. I love you, but you over here. But all Christ is saying is just come to Him. So yeah, man, I'm excited to read this book, guys. Please get this book, Overcoming Addiction Through Grace. This is very good. Malik has a powerful testimony. I want to invite him back once we go through the book. I don't want him to give away the nuggets just yet, and we can talk about the actual book, and I can pick out some things that we may not have talked about today. And one last word, anybody that's going through addiction, what would you tell them right now?
Wow. I mean, the best suggestions I could say is God. First. In addiction, it's like the verse, faith without works is dead, right? But I do believe the foundation, and I know it was for me, was really surrendering to God and accepting that I needed help, that I had an addiction. And so anyone going through that, what I could say is, it doesn't matter how long you've been addicted, it doesn't matter what it is, that God will forgive you, God will redeem you. And if you're at a place where you truly want to overcome your addiction, then there is hope. And I like I said, it starts with Jesus. For me, it started with Jesus and really surrendering. And then after that, God has a purpose for your life. So the community is very important. Being around people that are lifting you up, that have lived experience in addiction and have overcame it. All of these things are very important, and also changing the lifestyle, people, places, and things. Developing new healthy habits and routines, getting rid of old destructive behavior, and the renewing of your mind. Because being in addiction, we're so accustomed to running to whatever that substance or whatever that thing is to try to mask your pain, and you're not dealing with the true deep-rooted issues that are causing you to want to self-destruct.
Yeah.
So, that's where I always say God first, because if without that foundation for me in Christ and being in His Word and knowing that He delivered me, knowing that I'm more than a conqueror, knowing that greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world, knowing that all things are possible through Christ who strengthens me, this is my foundation. So a lot of times what we tell ourselves, we have to be very careful. That's why, and don't get it wrong, I went to AA, I went to GA, I went to NA, and there's no knock on that.
Sure.
Like, I think that is very helpful.
Sure.
I think it can help you on the right path. But at some point, like for instance, I had a problem with saying that I'm an alcoholic after 3 years of not drinking, that I'm an addict after 3 years of not doing drugs. I had a problem with that. Some people may be okay with that, but I think it's very important what we tell ourselves. So now,
I don't like that either.
So I'm delivered.
Yeah,
I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
That's my identity first.
There you go.
What I did doesn't make me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of fallout I had with things like that. But I will say it helped me. And surrendering to Christ. Get the help. Reach out. Don't be ashamed. Don't be too prideful. If you're destroying your life and you're affecting other people around you, some people are, destroying their family. All of these things. So I just say reach out and find your support group and
and Malik also has a addiction program for people that tell them how people can reach you, man.
Oh, absolutely. I'm founder of Amazing Grace Recovery LLC. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist and an addiction recovery coach. And you could find me on my website. You could go to MalikKeene.com. That's MalikKeene.com. That's my website. Or you can find me on my Facebook. Personal, you can reach out to me on Malik Keene, just the same way. My name is spelled MalikKeene. And also through my Freedom from Addiction, that's my community Facebook page. So and I really broke it down into 3 strategies to really overcome your addiction. And the first one is connecting to God, renewing your mind, letting God renew your mind, and finding your purpose. That's phase 1. Then it's finding a support group in your community, your new family, and then the third one is developing healthy habits and daily routines. So definitely reach out.
And his program that he has is not subject to just Christians, right? It's subject to all people, right? Because that's what he's called to do. We're called to love people. So if you're not a Christian, don't shun from it, right? I want to leave this last verse. What I thought of what you said. It said Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all you who worry and burden, and I will give you rest." I know a lot of people need rest, and you're probably struggling, going through the addiction, and you're probably tired. Then God says, Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle, humble in heart, and I will find rest for your souls."
Amen.
So then he says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So Jesus is telling you, if you're tired, come to me, because he's gentle. And what he gives you, you're never going to be able to experience anything like that again in your life. So I thank my brother Malik for coming out today, man. I know you guys make a run.
Thank
probably
you
went
too.
over a little bit, but it's cool.
It's all right. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So now, after all you heard that information, if you don't know, now you know. Peace.